And for everyone listening out there, please do not discount yourself. Welcome to Fishing Rock About Made a Lifetime Without Definitive Expectations, where we ask people to explode into their lives through full impact mindfulness, where we help people create their lives rather than find themselves. And the only requirement is the honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness to try. And if you have a few pixie dust sprinkles of that, then you're on your way. So, Mike, tonight what we're going to talk about is guiding our audience toward authentic self-discovery.
A little bit of a long-standing, we talk about a lot about creating yourself and stuff around here, right?
We often talk about creating ourselves. So what we're talking about, when we're also talking about honesty, open-mindedness, and a willingness to try, we're talking about the concept of inherent truths, Mike. These are the core beliefs, values, and qualities that define who we are. So what we want to do is we want to explain self-discovery, how it matters, and how understanding these truths can lead to greater fulfillment, confidence, and alignment with one's goals. So first of all, as in most every debate I've ever encountered, we have to define our terms. So what are inherent truths? Well, they're fundamental aspects of identity that are not shaped by external expectations. You ever hear that word expectations on our show, Mike?
Yes, I think we talk about that a lot.
We talk about expectations when we talk about how definitive expectations can really foul a person's life and lead them to unhappiness and despair. So, what we want to do is have their fundamental aspects of identity, such as I am empathetic. So, what they do with my patients sometimes is ask them to do the I am confident statements. And usually, what I start off with, Mike, I have them start off with I am confident that I know the difference between right and wrong. I am confident that I have a moral compass. I am confident that I can be dependable. I am confident that I can tell the truth. I am confident that I treat people with courtesy and respect. I am confident that I am intelligent, which is the ability to learn. I am confident that I am loved. I am confident that I love, and I am confident that I am important. Those self affirmations, when we reinforce these to ourselves, have a great deal to do to discover our inherent truths. So, there are often some barriers to self discovery, Mike. Some of them are societal pressures, what we should be and what we shouldn't be. We talk about that on our the media, how the media pressures us into doing certain things or not doing certain things. How about family expectations?
Oh, definitely a lot of that. A lot of well, you should be doing this, or your brother or cousin or whatever is doing that. So
Yes, to be a lawyer, to be a doctor, to be a police officer, to be something like that. Let me give you an example out of my own family's life. I can share this. Uh, my son graduated a number of years ago with an accounting degree from Penn State. About 2 weeks after he graduated, Mike, he told me that he didn't want to be an accountant. And I suggested to him, I said, well, I wouldn't want to be an accountant either. But I did question him. I said, well, give me the reason why you went into accounting if you didn't like it, because the expectations of his that he wanted to earn a lot of money. Okay. And then he was very upset about the money that me and his mother had spent. So uh, so he found his own identity. He found his own inherent truth as he had been watching the Food Channel since he's been 4 years old.
mm.
So sent him to a culinary school. Had an externship to Duquesne Club, and now he's not there anymore. But he's in his chosen profession, something he's good at and confident about.
And at least he has a good base that he can be hopefully financially responsible since he has that accounting degree, right?
Yes. So the expectations that we place on ourselves. How about fear of judgment? Fear of being judged. How many people walk through life fearing being judged? How many people have you ever said when they wanted to tell you something in there, they prefaced it by saying, "Don't judge me."
Yeah, absolutely. People are afraid of the truth and what other people are going to think about it.
That's correct. And we've often talked on this show about one of the reasons that people don't make choices, those powerful words I choose. Number one is because of fear of failure or embarrassment or humiliation. And the other thing is how are people going to judge my choice? What are they going to think of me because I make this choice? I've had people stay in harmful relationships simply because they didn't want how would my friends think about this if I stepped aside from this? How would his family think? How would her family think about this? And they're making decisions not based on their own best interests. Oh, hi, Jim Ellermeyer back again from Fishing Without Bait. And as we offer and express transparency, this is a shameless plug for a book that we are selling. This is a 365-day calendar where we have a Zen type of picture to draw with a caption, and then we ask some thoughtful questions that people can answer, such as, what are your general thoughts about the quote? What is the morning thought in the morning? What is your evening thought? And what will you do tomorrow to spread kindness? Okay? And the beauty of this is that it's not numbered. You can pick any page out. It's not numbered. You can pick any day out and pick any quote out you want or not. So what we're doing, we're asking people to use this as some type of a mindfulness activity to start their day. When we start our day, not trying to race through the day or with anxiety, but rather maybe some introspective self-talk, some internal validation. And what we're doing here is this. Also, what we'd like to do, we're going to be offering some Patreon material, maybe some behind the themes things, or some of the podcasts that we've done where we take a deeper dive. And we'd like to get your thoughts on that. What would you like to see? Are there any podcasts that we've done where you would like us to do a deeper dive? So you can please contact the show, and we'd be glad to explore that. And as always, we're looking for stories of recovery. Everybody's in recovery from something. We like to know how you got here from there. And please be good to yourself. And yes, this is a shameless plug. So what we want to do is we want to help people ask questions about how to uncover their truths, such as, when do you feel most energized? When do you feel most energized, Mike?
I love when I'm doing a live show, usually wrestling or MMA, and I love that. I love that moment where you're just like your energy, you're flying without a net, and we're live and we're going.
Because generally you are what your interests are.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And your heart is where your treasure is.
Yes.
And some people view their treasure as monetary goods.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you something else, Mike. What compliments resonate with you? What compliments can you accept and really appreciate?
Usually, just that when people appreciate how easy I am to work with, that's one that sticks out. That's one we had in the last week when we were working on a big project down at the convention center. They say, you're really easy to work with. We want to work with you again, kind of thing. Like that tells me that I'm doing something right.
Okay. So how do you accept compliments, Mike? Most people deflect them.
Oh, I'm terrible. I definitely do that a bit. I'm trying not to. Yeah, but we messed up this, and this. Like that's always a big problem at the end of the night. We're like, that was great, and we're just like, yeah, but it could have been better. Is like my internal response. I'm screaming in my head, and I try really hard not to say that out loud.
I often suggest to people not to discount themselves.
Yes.
And for everyone listening out there, please do not discount yourself. My suggestion is, and our suggestion from this show is, when somebody gives you a compliment, look them in the eyes and say thank you. Look them in the eyes and say thank you. They wanted to do something nice for you, a compliment that was deserved. And if you refuse it or you deflect it or downplay it, how does that person receive that?
I think somebody told me, I was in Seattle for a show a couple months ago, and they said, I think that's the best looking show we did. And I said, "That's awesome." I didn't say thank you. I said, "That's awesome," because to me, it's like I'm not the reason it was.
Yes. So what we want to do is set boundaries
Hmm.
of others' expectations. Have you ever really sat down with a client or a friend or someone and said, here's what I can do and here's what I cannot do?
We work a lot on this actually, because there's a lot of this is what we can do, this is what we're confident in, and hey, can we do this, this, and this? And it was like, hey, that's a new one, we can try it, and I let them know very, hey, if you want us to do this at the last minute, if you want this, this could work, and we'll try our best to make sure it works.
Okay.
Hmm.
And sometimes we just have to say, I can't do that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Um, definitely, it was like we can't do that unless there's a lot of money in our stuff. Yeah.
Well, we want to, you know, in Hamlet,
Hmm.
Polonius
Hmm.
said that Laertes to thy own self be true.
Yes.
Okay. And I think that Socrates and most of the great philosophers, most of the great thinkers, to thine own self be true.
Hmm.
Because who do you spend most of the time with, Mike?
Yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
John Kabat-Zinn wrote a book who really started a mindfulness activity in, I think it was the University of MIT or the University of Massachusetts. I'm sure one of the listeners will correct me and tell me how wrong I am. But he wrote a book called Wherever You Are. Wherever I go, wherever you go, there you are. Wherever you go, there you are. So when you have somebody that's always with you, your authentic self, okay? So wouldn't it be wise to start to really know that person?
Yeah, and I think a lot of people kind of reject that because they're kind of afraid to get to know themselves.
Correct. So these daily affirmations are really important.
Hmm.
We've talked many times, and things always bear repeating, Mike, that mainly we're like net fishermen. And when we cast our net out during the day, generally what we pull in is the negative experiences.
Hmm.
We remember those. We remember the flat tire. We remember the broken shoestring. We remember a person being rude to us.
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
And I always use this example, and I'll have to think of someone else, or perhaps some people out in our audience would generate some type of suggestion to me. Generally, I say when you sit in your car and you turn the key and it starts, do you have any thoughts on that?
No, yeah, and you should just be happy it did, right?
You don't think a thing about it. You just
No,
drive
no.
off. But I'm sure this has happened to you before. It's happened to
Hmm.
most everybody that when you turn the key and it doesn't start,
Hmm.
then how are you thinking?
I always think about this because I travel a lot, and I think about like a lot of the processes that happen to make that smooth for me. It's getting to the airport, getting through TSA, getting on the plane, making that connection without being delayed, getting there and not having a problem with the rental car company, with the hotel, with the client, with the equipment, and I always think about what it takes for that to be smooth and how terrible it is when something isn't. Like your plane is delayed, the car is messed up, this happens, you got a flat tire, you know what I mean? And that does give me a little bit of a sense of gratitude.
So, one of the things that we'd like to do is the ability to have overcoming doubts and maintaining self awareness. And one of these things is through the deep breathing process to activate our parasympathetic nervous system to exercise our calming muscles. One of the things that I ask patients to do, and we often do this, is we do a breathing exercise. We breathe through our nose and give our lungs some warm, moist air. Do it a favor. That's why we have noses. And what we do is we do soft belly breathing, which means we fill our abdomen up the whole way from our bellies up to our chest. We hold it to a count of 4 and then we exhale. So, what I suggest to do to people is maybe on the inhale, say, let and have whatever doubts and fears are in your mind, hold on to them, and then we exhale, we're letting them go. I would suggest that you do this 10 times each day. Accept the fears and doubts that you have, and then let them go. So, what we want to do is we want to fill them with the positive aspects of life, like in our uh, story about the turning the car key. So every time that your car starts today, my friends, or in the next few days, I'd like you to point out and say to yourself, that's a positive. Or when you can find your shoes in the morning, when you can find your keys, when you can find your glasses, when you can find your coat, when you don't trip going down the stairs, when you find out that your ears aren't as big as Dumbo the elephant's, you say to yourself, that's a positive. And my friends, if we're mindful and pay attention on purpose, at the end of the day, your net would be so heavy that you couldn't carry it. You couldn't carry it. So what we want to do is we want to recap the importance of identifying and embracing one's inherent truths. So what we like to do is invite our listeners to share their inherent truths about themselves and their discoveries through our social media, through our email. And the next episode, what we're going to do is we're going to dive deeper into specific areas of self-discovery. So what we'd like to do, Mike, is we'd like to encourage psychologists, coaches, or authors specializing in personal development to contact the show. We'd like to give you a platform on sharing your particular modality on personal development. And at the end of every podcast, what we'd like to do is give a free prescription. Fruits, nuts, and vegetables. Unplug your television and take up fishing. And for a truly mindful experience, we suggest that you fish without bait. Do a kindness for yourself and do a kindness for another. Forgive yourself and forgive another. Till all are free, none are free. If we're all not the Creator's children, then none of us are. Namaste.
Please check out our website at fishingwithoutbait.com, where you can listen to the show, comment on our discussions, and find out where you can subscribe to our podcast. If you're interested in flying the colors of Fishing Without Bait, click the shop icon on our website. We have clothing, mugs, cell phone cases, and so much more. Show the world that you fish without bait. This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at sorgatronmedia.com.